And we are officially live. Hello, everyone that is here. Oh my god, all 211 of you. Jeez. Okay.
I'm gonna have to
Crazy.
update my Discord avatar to my character.
Wow. What an opportunity this is. I hope everyone here is as excited as I am to get into some of these questions because this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun for me. It's gonna be fun for all of you. And yeah, also shout out to, I think we had some super chats before we even got started. I'm gonna go ahead and check on those real quick. Random OG, shout out to you for the 2 and the 5. Boogeyman with the 14 in Canadian. You're a real one. Thank you so much. Oh my god, chat is flying. Holy crap, I've literally never dealt with this
Just
before.
did another announcement. You might not have had.
Oh no! There's another one. The second wave is coming. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we should get into it, shouldn't we? Right? I mean, we got like
sure.
almost 300 submissions, I think. I'm like, oh my god, oh there's more. Okay, like 350.
Yeah, you can pick what ones you wanna ask.
Okay, I'm gonna start from the top. I'm gonna go down until I find one that's good, and by good I mean that we don't already know the answer to. Because some of these we already know.
Yeah, maybe just mark them off as you go, so we know what ones we're going to.
Yeah. Well, there is a question here from Solar Space asking, why did the podcast and monthly devblogs stop?
That's a very good one. I don't know if I would say that the devlogs have stopped, but they're definitely in an area where I'd like to do them more frequently, like every 2 weeks or something. But it's mostly polling the development team and asking what they're working on. And sometimes there's a lot of cool stuff we want to talk about, and sometimes there's stuff that's like, this is kind of experimental. We don't know if it's going to ship. This may or may not be a good or a bad idea. We want to kind of develop it before we announce it. But yeah, I'd like to go back to doing them more frequently.
Awesome. Glad.
But in terms of the podcast, it's mostly a time recording thing, and
that's
we
fair.
do too many now. Delaying the patch.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people like extrovert, introvert, and you ask an introvert like, "Hey, do you want to record a podcast?" And it's like, "Oh, thanks. It'll be fun, but that'll be my whole day." You know what I mean? Like, as in, like, I'm not getting any work done after that, and that's kind of can be a bit much to ask someone if they're trying to get a bunch of work done on the game.
Yeah, I 100% get that.
I was going to record one as well, and I got sick over Christmas and I lost my voice as well.
Oh no! Oh, that's never fun. Okay, second question, and I'm asking this on behalf of the probably 100 people that asked this. So we can just get it out of the way and move on. So Tylo just got a 4th subspecies, which is super cool. Like the collaboration with Skeleton Crew and the new paper that came out and all that. Super awesome how you guys did that. I love it. But everyone is wondering if this means other creatures will get 4th subspecies, such as the most majority named Spinosaurus mirabilis.
Yeah, this is maybe something I disagree with Cheeky on, but I would like as many subspecies as possible, right? Like, you can just keep it, why can't we have 5 or 10 per dinosaur, right? The main problem I always have is you have too many. There's too much friction for players when they're selecting something,
Yeah.
So we kind of determined 3 was a good number, especially if they have stats,
Oh yeah.
But we don't really have a like subspecies unlocking system. Like it'd be cool to be like, okay, you unlock this when you get adult, and you unlock this at this stage, and can it be more varied? But it's mostly also going to be a 36 dinosaurs plus. You know, if you want to make one per dinosaur, now you have to do, you know, at least 36 more of them, right? So I could see more being in the future, but the reason why it's mostly free is just time and, you know, fatigue for selections. But I'd be okay with more personally, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right on. All right. Looks like we've got an entry here from Shirts. A lot of questions here, but there's one I particularly want to highlight, and I think someone from your balance team left a note for this one. They asked, how much would you say the gameplay design philosophy has changed from the first TLCs like Lamb, Iggy, and Struthi to current and modern ones like Metri?
Cool. I guess you have that one highlighted, right?
I don't know how to highlight it. It's
Didn't select it.
yeah, it's this one.
I just want to see if there's a note next to it.
I don't know how to select this. Do I just click on it and then it highlights it for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the one with the 6 questions, right?
Yeah, that's the question number 4 on this one. Yeah.
How much would you say the gameplay has changed from the first TLC to the modern ones? Well, they've definitely been getting a lot more in depth, and a lot more work is going into each TLC. So previously we would try to get multiple TLCs done and then get a patch out to switch, and then kind of release them over time. But the bad problem with that is feedback is kind of hard to iterate on. So
right,
if you think about it, if we have to release, you know, make 3 TLCs and then release them 1 per month, for example, or 2 per month or something, if we make a mistake with the first TLC, players will be like, hey, that bit sucks, why'd you do that? And then we can't fix it for the other 2, right? So they feel like, hey, I'm being ignored because the TLCs are all pre-made, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm being ignored because you released another one without listening to my feedback. So we've kind of changed that to releasing them kind of more ad hoc when they're ready, which means they're a bit slower, but also we can get iterate feedback on them better. So that when we do, like, you know, the team of CLC after Metric, for example, we can take all the feedback Metric had to another dinosaur as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things are in common, right?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
I guess it's more from a patching perspective, right?
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I like this question from Safstrax. Which dinosaur were you most proud of making when you looked at the finished product? And this could apply to your team as a whole. It doesn't have to be you specifically.
Yeah, so most of my work is non-dinosaur work. But it's kind of hard to say. Like, there's upcoming ones that I can't talk about yet that I'm super proud of because there's a lot more like interesting mechanics and stuff coming with them. But I think the important thing is that the team's getting better at every TLC. And the team's getting better at dinosaur models, every dinosaur model we do. The same with the sound. So while there might be different gameplay between the dinosaurs, the biggest problem as an artist, for example, is you get better at your art every dinosaur you do, and then your old dinosaurs look bad in comparison, right? And so we worked on all these dinosaurs, but some were done years ago and some were done, you know, last year, for example, right? So the hardest challenge is how do you balance all the dinosaurs you're making? Because if you just make one dinosaur extremely good, now you're gonna have to go back and update all the other dinosaurs, right? So that's kind of what we've been doing TLCs to make sure we bring all the dinosaurs up to parity. But it does take a long time because the better you get, the more difference there is between them. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I were to pick one, I would say the Tyler, would be something the team's pretty proud of. We spent a lot of time talking to paleontologists before it released on the early design of it. So there's a lot of work. People will be like, "Hey, it's unrealistic," and then a paper comes out. It's like, oh wow, actually, never mind. It's really realistic.
Yeah, it's like, oh, actually, the person who was writing a paper on Tylosaurus was the consultant for the model in the game. That's yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Spiner tail, where like Jiggy guessed what the Spiner tail was going to be like, and everyone says it's realistic. And then like maybe a year later, people were freaking out that, hey, the Spiner tail is accidentally the most realistic thing.
Yeah, that was funny. I wasn't in the Path of Titans scene when that happened, but I did hear about it.
It reminds me of people would ask like, hey, why does Packy have a beak or not have a beak and stuff like that, and you go to look up like how many bones were discovered of the dinosaur, and you find out that like it's just a left leg bone, and there's no other bones, and you're like, I don't know if we know what the face of this thing looks like. Right?
Yeah, and then there's also the fact that like we still haven't found Spinosaurus's arms. Mm-hmm. Like we still don't have his front arms, guys. His arms are missing.
We also lost a lot of Spino in World War II, unfortunately, as well.
Yeah, true. It's a tragedy equivalent to the burning of the Library of Alexandria.
Oh, okay. I guess it's Spider-Man, huh?
Yeah, maybe my bias is showing. Okay. Okay. This is a question for both of us, apparently. From Arctic05, asking, what is your Path of Titans hot take?
Man, I have so many. I could probably give 100. But how about I have you go first, all right?
I think my hot take is that Pycno needs to be taken out back in Old Yellard. I think a lot of people are mad at me about that one.
Wow. Brutal. Let's see. My Path of Titans hot take. Maybe I can give a couple, I'm not sure. My hot take from a game perspective, I would definitely say that Campto is hugely underrated, and we need a TLC. I could imagine we do a Campto TLC, and people are like, "Oh yeah, look, just like the Rampy TLC, you did another TLC with Dinosaur. I don't want." But no matter what TLC we do, it's always going to be the wrong one. Like, there's always going to be a player that is like, it should have been the other TLC.
Yeah.
The second really hot take I'd probably have is that Charge Bite being removed from Soccer was actually a really good thing for the game.
Oh yeah, that's a spicy one. I mean, it's one I agree with, but it's spicy.
When we originally worked on it, I think it's such a cool ability, and I wish we could have it in the game, but there seems to be a bit of a design issue with kind of how it's implemented, and
I mean, it's still in the game. It's just not on Sarco anymore.
Yeah, there was a bit of a design issue where you're mostly getting, we thought it was like a cool ability where like it'll be noisy, so like if you heard it coming, you could avoid it and stuff like that.
Yeah, now you just have Riptide Duck, where there's no audio cue or wind up, and you just get cracked for 200 damage and bleed.
Yeah, it seems like really powerful one-shot abilities are kind of, they're really cool, but they're also pretty bad for...
God, I love one-button wonders. They're my favorite. Press one button to win. Am I right, guys?
I guess if you're in another game, you're like, oh, one trick, whatever. It's a dinosaur, right?
Yeah, I think in Warframe they're called press 4 frames. They're Warframes where their whole ability kit is absolute dog water, but they have this really strong ultimate move, and you just build the Warframe to be able to spam that one ability. And so all you do is you go into a mission, you just press 4. until the mission's over, and then you leave. It's so boring.
Yeah, the problem with charge bite is if you're another aquatic, right, and you're you're fighting someone with more momentum or turn speed than you just get jumped. You know,
Oh
you go
yeah,
to heal, you can't heal, they come back at you. There's kind of nothing you can do other than like leave, and leave the water and never come back.
it's really fun when there's
But
like 3 of them, and they're all
they
using the
take
charge
turns.
bite, and they take turns. Yeah, they take turns. They take shifts.
Like it's not like the game has a dodge system where you can dodge things really easily,
Yeah, this
and
isn't Dark Souls.
it just seems like it can be unavoidable. I mean, I'm sure that people would disagree with me and be like, "Oh, Matt, you loser, it's avoidable." But um, something we may not see is we see all of the people that play the game. We go and spectate people in game, and just because you might have had a good experience with it, does not mean that overall for the game whole, it's a good experience for people. You know.
Yeah.
Um, but more than happy for someone to mod those back in though, if they really want them. You know.
Yep. Okay. I'm trying to find another solid question. I'm going to be honest. I'm really trying to avoid asking you balance questions because you told me that you're really not the guy to be answering balance questions.
I can talk about it in general, but I'm not like,
yeah.
I'm not.
Some of these
making...
questions are so in depth that I like. It's a big read. I'm like, man, I don't. This is so specific. I don't think he can answer this in a satisfying way.
Hey, you can always try it. We can always give it a attempt to it. So.
Yeah, I guess suppose that's true.
The one that gets me is just like the same question over and over and over again. Because it's like, I mean, there's some questions that I get that are like, I mean, I'll probably answer this 100 times.
Yeah, like
there's a. It just means
There's a question here asking about like snowy areas on new maps, and I'm like, guys, did you read the devblog?
Yeah, we just spent, I guess, 2 years making a map.
Yeah, probably not.
And we're gonna work on a TLC for Pandora or Gundra at some point, but the amount of biomes you have are mostly depends on how much texture memory you want to cake up. So I guess it's not that we're against having snow or whatever, but it's also another landscape texture, and it depends on how much you want to take up on mobile and other platforms, stuff like that.
Okay. A question from the Imp is asking, would playables have descriptions on their playstyles when viewing them in the future to help new players?
Yeah, this is just one of many things we do wrong. Is that if I play a game like Heroes of the Storm, for example,
right,
it'd be like, you're playing Abathur. It's very hard. You might die a lot, right?
Yes.
But if I go play Path of Titans, it's like, well, what's a good beginner dinosaur? You know what I mean? What is a good... people are like, oh, I'm going to play T-Rex, and they pick T-Rex, and then they get murdered by a Tyrannotitan. They don't understand the game. So there's probably something there where we want to fix that. But it's mostly there's always, with development, there's always 10,000 things to do, and you have to pick what one, right? We pick too many things at once, the team starts breaking stuff, But I'd like to... We also updated the rules and the message of the day to have like 16 times more characters, so server owners can put more rules and more profiles and stuff in. But ideally, I'd have an in-game wiki, and then each dinosaur will get its own page, and then we can just have on there, here's the play style, here's some tips,
Okay, yeah. Ooh, this is I like this question. Okay, shout out to is it May? Sorry, I'm stuttering over myself. May Vandy said, hi Matt and Zilla, I'm a solo player who is highly anticipating the upcoming AI dinosaurs. I would love to know how complex and smart their systems will actually be, specifically regarding 2 main things. First, their sensory and survival logic. Will AI dinosaurs be able to hear our footsteps, track scents, or spot players hiding in bushes? And how do they make these decisions? Will a hungry AI apex predator attack blindly, or will it choose to run away and hide if its health is low? Second, their social and packing behaviors. Can AI carnivores naturally group up to hunt larger prey together, and will AI herbivores actively work as hard to defend their babies from predators? We really hope this AI system creates a living, realistic ecosystem for solo players. Thank you so much.
Oh, so I'm going to answer some of this. Obviously, AI is not all programmed in the game yet, so things can change, right? But the main issue with why Quest sucks so much right now, and why some of the game's missing a lot of its content, is mostly Dinosaur AI. Because we're about to use them in Quest, and we're about to use them in other ways that'll help improve the game a lot. But the plan is to have things like grouping and, AI to have a mood system and be able to use all the attacks that you can use, for example. Because it's kind of hard to code, because as a human, you're just like, I'm going to use a spiner stomp, right? But the AI actually needs to use it intelligently. It can't just or if you're within this range, just do spiner stomp. It has to be like, well, when should I use this and why? And, is this going to use stamina or whatever, right? So that coding that for 36 dinosaurs is probably going to be the hardest part. So I imagine when the dinosaurs first come out, they'll be more simple, but the plan is to, server performance willing to make them as in depth as what a player would be,
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing single player, that could almost be like a solo mode, and you can actually play and enjoy the game and fight people, and you have some dinosaur AI that are better than you and some worse than you and things like that, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about combat, they've got movement altering abilities like charges and dashes and things, bites, vocal call, passive abilities, trample.
Oh yeah, the kits can be so complex.
If you think about how complicated it is to code, when should an AI trample you versus give you a friendly call? You know what I mean? And when should it, instead of trying to bite you, predict where you're going to go and bite you there and stuff like that, right? That's insanely complicated, and that's the reason why we don't have AI dinosaurs yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't envy the person who has to code this stuff in, because it's insanely complicated, and there's probably going to be interesting bugs, and.
Oh man, I can't wait to abuse the crap out of those. AI dinos are going to be so
even
funny.
With critters, critters don't really have health, and they don't really have some features, because we're trying to save the show performance for the dinosaur AI, because we know it's going to be, we know the dinosaur AI is going to be complicated.
Mm-hmm. All right. We have a question from Fuzzy asking, when transfer eventually comes, will we be forced to merge all our same playables across the maps, or can we choose to have them separate? Example, am I forced to merge my Gondwa and Raparia Rexes, or can I play both on the same map?
I'm not 100% sure on this one. It's mostly going to come down to a logistics thing on how we want to end up doing it. We don't really want to have people having multiple of the same dinosaur at a time on the same map, mostly because it's kind of like a revenge kill balance issue right now.
Mm-hmm.
The more dinosaurs you have, the more you can have logged off to go gank somebody, right?
Right.
But I don't know if forcing people to merge everything would be a good idea either. So maybe we'll have a think about it. Maybe there's a thing where you can just say, hey, look, I want to transfer this Rex over here and this Rex back or whatever, or something, or just have one active at a time. But I don't really know how it's going to work, but I definitely want to avoid having a bunch of dinosaurs all at the same time, Mostly, if I could have 10 Rexes and then lug them out strategically at every area of the map, that's not going to be very fun.
Right. Yeah. All right. Have a question here from Capybari asking, the multiplayer matchmaking system was originally supposed to launch alongside Raparia and was reportedly close to completion. What is its current status now, half a year later? Did something unexpected come up during development? Is active work on it still going on? Or has it been put on hold for the time being?
Yeah. The biggest thing with this and a lot of systems like the character transfer is when you're making a game, you have multiple different teams. So we have people that write code for Unreal Engine in the game. We have people that work on kind of back-end systems. And this is kind of the reason why Metric's taking so long too. Is we get the system coded into the game, but there's some kind of dependency on another team like backend to actually put the remaining pieces in. Right? So an issue with matchmaking that I'm waiting on the backend guys for at the moment is currently what I'd like to do is take the current matchmaking and swap it over to the new one, right? But I want to fix a couple of holes, like not being able to make a new character by matchmaking it.
Yeah, that would
right?
That would be an issue.
Because like I could make it live right now, but there's gonna be some person without a character. Okay? And they're gonna be like, "Hey, Matt, I can't make new characters on matchmaking." And I was like, "Well, I guess we can't ship it then, right?" Because like it's funny. There's some people that have no characters on Rhyperia, right? Like to this day, because they're just waiting for 7 transfers, right? And so I don't want to. Could you imagine, like, if we put a matchmaking stress test up where we have both of them in parallel, I could probably do that. But I don't know if it's going to be a good experience because we're fragmenting the play base a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to be able to really do a true test. Like, even for the solo mode, the solo mode won't really be solo until all the modes are swapped out to the new matchmaking system, right?
Yeah.
Because a whole bunch of groups are playing on solo right now. When the actual main mode is also swapped out, right? Like it's actually going to be a different experience on all the servers. But there's also a number of holes that I'm working on where we're going to make solo mode have a different character position than the normal mode. So you can't kind of like waystone your friend in and log out in a certain spot and then swap to solo and then gang people, right?
Right.
But that stuff's done for next patch, like the solo mode separate position. But I can imagine, like even after we make matchmaking live, we're also gonna have to layer on a whole bunch of like someone's gonna come up with some kind of exploit. And we're gonna have to layer some extra stuff on top of it to block it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
But we won't really know how it works until all the modes are all swapped out.
Fair.
Because I'm sure there's some people that are solo players right now and might actually want to play on the group mode because they know that the mega packs are going to be gone. You know what I mean? And then you have to wonder like how once there's mega packs are mostly reduced, a solo player is going to want to go back to playing the normal mode. And that'll be interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would play on the normal mode a lot more if I knew there wasn't going to be 20 Rexes show up out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, I'm gonna take a short break to address chat very quickly. I'm just gonna back my mods up here, and I just want to give a reminder to everybody watching. While I appreciate super chat donations greatly, please do not donate with questions or trying to get me to look at questions. I feel gross taking that kind of money, and we've already got a forum and a system established, so if you have questions, like the forum was posted, we're going to go through as many as we can, but please do keep in mind that as far as questions in chat go, we're not really going over those at the moment, and I don't know if we'll have time to go over them. But once again, just please don't super chat questions. Please don't do that. Stop doing that, please.
I feel like it'd be a little unfair. Like I'm gonna pay more to get my answer.
I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about that. Well,
we appreciate the support regardless.
Yeah, support is great, but please don't do that. Where's the form? It was posted.
I can post a link in chat if Google.
Yeah,
Google,
hold on.
It's in the part of time. Just go.
I also made a community post on my channel about it a few hours ago while I was at work, so that way people could look at it. I'll post it in chat real quick. Give me just a second. Let's see if Google likes me. Nope, Google will not cooperate. Hold on, that's a YouTube redirect. Let me see if I can. Get it from here. Copy, paste.
Okay, yeah, mods can paste it.
Yeah, woo! W mods. Okay. And also, I have it pinned, but I'm going to say it again. General reminder to everyone here that I expect you guys to be respectful of each other and to my guests, because I don't want the developers to get discouraged from doing things like this again in the future, and because while I appreciate all of my mods' hard work, I don't need people making their job harder. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, just feel free to send more questions by the Google form. We'll get them as they come in, okay?
Oh yeah, we'll get to them for sure. Okay, back to the form. Okay. Question from Schaefer. Are herbivores going to get quests from a quest giver?
Yes.
Awesome.
It'll literally just be we didn't code it. We did the carnivores first, as a test.
I mean,
I know the
carnivores
herbivores have had it pretty rough, and they did, most of the herbivores are not in the top 20 play dinosaurs, right? Like they need quests badly, right? Like
which is crazy because like arguably Anodontosaurus is like one of the most busted playables in the game, but everybody sleeps on it. Nobody plays it. Question from Natch. I'm just gonna say Natch because I don't think I could do.
There's a reason why I made you pronounce the names, okay? So anyway.
Will there be another way of finding other players outside of sound and red zones on the minimap?
Well, I guess there's a couple of ways to answer this. So, I actually want to better have people better find a group in the main menu and find people from the main menu.
I think
then group in and play and then play together in game. Is one answer, right?
I think I broke the stream on accident. Hold on.
Okay.
I accidentally minimized Discord and OBS stopped showing our icons. I fixed it though.
All right. As long as people can still hear us.
Yep. We're good. We're good now. I fixed it.
Okay. So one answer is like, I want people to better find each other from the main menu, right? A lot of people like, I'm a solo player, but I'd play with a group if I had one, and it's super hard to find a group. I guess people will be like, hey, just go make friends. Like, well, it's not that easy, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to bet if people could post, hey, I'm looking for a Odonto for my herbivore group with this ability or whatever, and people can group up that way. That would be super cool. But other than that, more ways in game, yeah, sure. If there's anything we can do about it, but we added a way in game with a kind of group finder in game, but we either we mess the UI up on it or people don't know it's there. There's a lot of mechanics in game that aren't obvious, that aren't surfaced very well, and that's why people don't use it a lot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I have another question here that I like as a question. And there is a very large note next to it.
Which question it is?
It's row 119. It's from
119?
Glossopterus.
119. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's a lot of debate in the community about stats and how combat should work between dinosaurs, to the point it gets unhealthy because some people want realism and some want a fun video game. Are we ever going to get an official devblog or summary of what should be able to fight what? I.e., should a 2-slot ever be able to win against a 3-slot?
Cool. Well, I'm gonna help leverage the note on this one. Okay. And I'll see if I can add some of my thoughts. But so when it comes to design and how we balance dinosaurs, it comes down to a few factors. Can this dinosaur escape this other dinosaur? It can't. Can it fight it? It needs to be able to fight it if it can't run from it. Which is like, that makes a lot of sense, right? What value does this dinosaur bring in terms of the group setting? Does it have any group boss? In the middle of the road, dinosaurs with a lot of group buffs are intended to be weaker than a dinosaur that does not provide much typically. How strong and mobile the dinosaur is. The more mobile this dinosaur is in real movement options, it typically results in having lower strength ranking to offset this. This is how flyers are balanced with them being weaker as a whole compared to their terrestrial counterparts. Meanwhile, aquatics punch up because unlike a semi-aquatic, they can go onto any nearby land or back into the water to escape a fight at will. Aquatics are locked to the water largely. So this is what we're talking about with charge bite, with the whole escaping the water problem, right? How does this compare to a dinosaur? How does this dinosaur compare to others in a slot bracket? So yeah, that's also a factor. Character roles. Ergo, a medic isn't going to be as strong as a dedicated DPS character. A tail attacker isn't going to be as strong as direct fight than a frontal attacker. So a lot of the game balances around playstyles per dinosaur. Design ideally wants it to where, say, two slot characters could kill a single 3-slot character, but this is heavily going to depend on how strong and mobile both are. Player skill, builds, terrain, and so forth. A Rex who is war camping against obviously Alberts is going to be much tougher fight than a Rex out in the middle of Salt Flats option. And this just to add, a lot of people test PvP in the middle of Salt Flats with no terrain and no running away and no flanking and no strategy at all. But we're actually testing using strategy as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got a Struthy and it's fighting a Camptor, and the Struthy is using no movement ability in the fight, what's the point, right? Like, its whole thing is movement ability, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add?
No. I'm not on the design team, so it's not my question to answer.
All right.
But I do agree with this philosophy. I think it's very healthy for the game, given the way that the group slot limits are structured and what we're expecting the game to look like after the matchmaking update fully rolls out. I mean, I say this to a lot of people. I like to view the group limit as a resource that you and your friends have to optimize if you want to have the best chance of surviving, right? If me and my buddy want to run a duo, realistically speaking, we need to figure out how to best maximize the usage of the 12 slots we are allowed when grouping up. And so naturally, if there's just two of us, if we want to have like a fairly easy time and be able to take most every fight we could possibly encounter, we're going to run a pair of 5 slots, right? We're going to run a Rex duo or something like that. But like if I've got 5 other buddies and we all want to roll up, we're probably going to run Ceratos or something and max out those 12 slots. It's just.
And if I'm playing Camptor, I'm going to break 10. Okay.
Yeah. And maybe a Barsbolia to back you up with Herdsong. Question from Toast Coffee asking, any plans to change EO in some way? It's mainly the block that needs support, and I'd like to see it be somewhat reworked. But general question being, is EO going to see changes?
Oh, this is an easy one. There are planned EO changes in the next major patch.
The next patch? As in the one that's coming?
Well, for some reason, people thought the Tyler Subspecies thing was a patch. I'm a little bit disappointed that we spent 2 months doing it Tyler Subspecies, but no, I mean, when I say next major patch, I mean like a full game patch as a version. We'll have to update stuff.
Yeah, like the one that you said that was taking a while in the earlier one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, you heard it here first, guys. EO changes incoming. Hold on to your butts. Okay. Sorry, I'm Some of these questions are pretty lengthy. I'm having to like scan through them to see if
read what it is.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so many. Well, I guess I'll answer a question that is directed at me by one of my regular chatters from Rippy. Zilla, will there be a Primal Carnage Extinction stream? Game has a 90% discount until May 31st. It's a cool game that deserves reviving. I'm gonna be real, boss. Probably not. Not a huge fan of streaming on PlayStation. It's I do it sometimes, but it's kind of scuffed. Okay. Question from Cam asking, what's going to happen to the bug tracker and founder skins if you have any plans on them, on the future with them?
I mean, other than adding more, right? More bug tracker skins?
I mean,
I'd like to have one per dinosaur would be super cool, but it's also a lot of work. But unfortunately, I've been having people make up fake bugs to try to get a skin. It's like, it's really disappointing.
All right. Question from Schaefer. Schaefer again with the good questions. Are we going to get prehistoric fish to replace the modern fish?
I think that, stuff like that's been in progress. So I guess it depends on what fish models we have, but I'd be curious, like, what fish do we think are not prehistoric, Because I know fish like arapaima are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, been around for ages.
And I mean, sharks have been around. Like, there are sharks like sharks are older than stars. In some cases, there's stars that are younger than sharks as a species.
I'd be curious. It reminds me of the grass didn't evolve yet,
Allo couldn't touch grass. It didn't know what grass was. Allosaurus saw grass and got scared. Quick reminder to chat. Again, please do not super chat with questions. I appreciate the support, but I'm not going to answer questions you guys are paying to have seen because I don't want to support that. That feels icky. Please stop. Love you guys, but please stop. Okay. I was looking at a question. Oh, this is a question I wanted to ask. I think I asked it last time, and I thought your answer was funny. Question from Opal. Does Path of Titans have lore?
Oh, man. How did the Waystones come to be, huh?
What's with the stone altars all over the map, Matt?
Maybe I can't answer this one, because I'm.
Well, last time you said it was classified.
Yeah.
And then when I asked you about, I think it was flooded caves, you said that was classified too.
How come Mossy Cave doesn't have any moss?
How come it doesn't? Where's the blue moss, Matt? Oh man. Okay, question from Nikki. Hello, Matt. Years back, you showed the community a work-in-progress clan tab UI and mentioned clans were a planned feature for the future. Is that system still in development, scrapped, or on hold? We'd love an update on it. I think it would be a nice addition to the game after group matchmaking is implemented.
It's one of those things that the backend team would have to code in, and that's kind of why the bottleneck, If the servers are crashing or going down, the backend team are probably working on that and not clients or something. But I could see something in the future, but I'm sure people don't want it immediately right now because of all the mega packing problems, but I can see things like voice chat and client feature and all that stuff after, mega packing's been solved,
Mm-hmm. All right, I've seen this question come up a lot in various forms as I've gone through this form, and so I'm going to ask it on behalf of all the people who asked. and I expect you're going to be reading the noted answer that I have highlighted that
Sure.
appears every time this question is asked. Uh, what's the deal with diets, Matt?
Um, I mean, I probably can do a better answer than the nerd, but um, I think the plan is to improve them at some point. Um, but I don't know if they're kind of, in the short term, right?
Yeah, fair. I mean, that's about the same answer that we've gotten, but it's nice to hear it
Yeah, it's like
reiterated.
something we want to work on. I don't know if it'd make it like too repetitive and too extreme. I know there's some people that like your dinosaur only meets a rare species of mushroom, otherwise you're gonna die. Like that might be a bit too much, but we can see what we can do, right? Um, it might be easier to do when we have some kind of dynamic food balancer, where we can dynamically change the food on the map at runtime instead of it being pre-placed. And that way we can. This is for herbivores specifically because carnivores already have it pretty easy with a diet, but with herbivores, some kind of dynamic food spawner would be nice. And then that could feed into the diet system,
Yeah. Okay.
Because the problem is you have to remember static pre-placed berry bushes that someone didn't eat somewhere sometime, right? And that's a lot. That's a lot more annoying and less interactive than dynamic food spawning, right?
All right. We have a question from. Oh, who's this guy? Boogeyman YT? Never heard of him. What is the thought process behind nerfing playables in anticipation of their future TLC when they may go, in some cases, 6+ months or longer being underpowered? Surely the dev team can see the metrics of what playables are almost never played anymore post nerfs, such as Amarga, Alio, etc.
Some dinosaurs that receive adjustments will vary since some changes are made in near preparation of TLC and then the TLC gets delayed, which can complicate things. But it comes down to what can safely be adjusted on, certain dinosaurs to avoid situations of becoming overpowered or uninteractive with the rest of the game. Amarga is an example of this due to where Amarga sits in terms of mobility, since it has to actively engage with dinosaurs like Titan. But if Marga can reliably beat Titan, it now punches way too hard due to its currently limited kit. This creates a case where people will spam Amargas just to lock down areas of the map, and something we've seen players do in the past. If the dinosaur can be adjusted without breaking too much, we can do adjustments. Alderon is a good example of where this was after his last buffs is sitting at a KD ratio higher than Rex, Titan, Hats, Conquer, etc. This isn't to say the KD ratio is what solely decides dinosaur balance, but it's side of when it's being played well. LR is in a state where it's serviceable until it's TLC.
I think you meant to say Alio there, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, Elio. Yeah, I don't have my glasses on at the moment.
All good. Don't sweat it. That's what I'm here for. Okay. Right on. Well, there you go, Boogie. I hope that makes you happy. He'd been asking me to ask you that question since
that's a better answer than I could have gave. But
he's been asking me to ask you that since after the last time you and I were on stream together. He's been sitting on that one for a while. Question from Leorin. When nesting was first released in 2024, it was said that was only the first nesting update of many more to come, and that is not finished in the slightest. We did see a few more updates, but is the feature considered completely done now, or is work on it just stopped for the time being?
When we said there's going to be more nesting updates, that's still planned. The main problem we have with nesting is one of the developers working on nesting kind of had to leave the team for some personal reasons. And it kind of sucks because they were the most experienced with working on the nesting code. So for right now, we'll put it on hold for nesting, and we're going to look at it in the future,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But if they were still on the team, I'd just be like, hey, just knock out the next 3 nesting updates real quick. But, at the moment, you have to get a different programmer ramped up on a feature. It takes a lot longer. And if we do too many things at once, we start breaking things, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm pretty sure you can't answer this one, but I'm going to ask because if I don't ask, everyone's going to be like, Zilla, why didn't you ask Matt about leads? How's development going for future ocean playable lead Sicties?
I don't think it's being started yet, unfortunately. So
well, there you go. Now we know.
We'll work on it at some point, but there's some existing playables we got to get DLCs for first.
Thank you, Super Saiyan CJ3, for that question. Okay. Question from Capro. Why was animation canceling removed, and do you plan to add it back like you did with Packy's dodge into kick?
So just for context, do you know what they mean by animation canceling? Do they mean canceling a charge or something, or do they mean something else?
I think they mean something else. I think they mean
do they mean like using an emote or like picking up an item or
maybe something like that. I don't know. I don't fully know what animation canceling means here.
I can take a guess, but if it's related to a charge, it might be done for balance reasons. Is it related to picking up an item? It could just be a bug we fixed accidentally and it wasn't done on purpose. But sometimes it can be a bug. Sometimes it can be an intentional decision. It depends on. I just wish I had a little bit more context of like what he meant. Like a specific example.
All right. Oh, man. I had told myself I was going to count the number of times that the word Microraptor appeared in the form, and I forgot to do it before the stream. But it comes up a lot.
Is that... Yeah, it's a whole bunch, huh?
Okay, but this is I guess this is kind of an interesting question from Fledged Feathers, one of our lovely Inventum modders. With Microraptor, are there plans to create a system for certain skins to have iridescent feathers or overlays as we know it had, or will skins with iridescence be similar to Latin's magpie skin with colors similar to it?
I'm assuming what they mean by overlay is some kind of like extra material on top. The main problem we have with those kind of things is like it doubles the amount of draw calls that you need to do to render the dinosaur. So if you have a 20,000 triangle dinosaur, if you have to have another overlay material slot on it, it doubles it to 40,000. And so you can imagine by the time you add 2 or 3 layers, each dinosaur is now 60,000 triangles to render. And so the problem is on weaker hardware that can start rapidly becoming a problem. So, not saying that we can't do cool looking skins and things like that, but there's an issue there with how complicated you make it and how much performance you use up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, why are we getting questions like this? What is this?
Chat doesn't know.
Chat doesn't know, but I can't tell them or they're gonna go nuts. They're like feral animals. What is this question? Arbiter, what did you write? Oh, that's a diet thing. We already went over diet stuff. Question from Nito Burrito. If you had to rebuild Path of Titans from the ground up, would you change anything?
This is a really good question. I mean, I probably would have done the quest system differently still. I think this is the second iteration of the quest system we've written. I probably would have done the database layer kind of differently on Codewise to make that a little bit easier to work with, but I don't know if I've changed a lot because I guess the problem is whatever you can change, like most of the stuff that we want to fix, we can fix, and it's just like a time constraint thing. So there's no like, hey, we'll recode the game from scratch and do this thing. Usually, if you want something changed, you just kind of change it, you know?
Right.
Maybe if I, would have stayed on Unreal Engine 4, potentially, there's a lot of pros of stability there. Like, I think some of the new Unreal 5 updates kind of, made stability worse, but there's kind of trade-offs to doing that.
Okay. All right. Okay, this is a super chat that I can be very grateful for. Brown Mouse 0 with the super said, "Big shout out to the moderators. You are doing your job perfect. I would have lost my mind." W moderators, honest to God, you guys are actual lifesavers here. I would not be able to do this if it weren't for you guys.
You guys should try moderating the Part of the Titans just going at 200,000 people.
Oh, yeesh.
Or the game has 1.8 million chat messages per day. Okay.
Looks like we have a question from Conware, which I will ask on behalf of everybody in backer chat, who I know absolutely loathes this mechanic with every fiber of their being. Is Alderon looking into nerfs for the oppressive state of AoE to make fights more approachable, such as longer cooldowns, long windups for animations, smaller radius, less damage, etc.?
Yeah, the answer is just gonna be yeah. We'll take a look at it.
Well,
at least for question 1, right?
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah, that answers it. They're gonna look at it. There you go, Con. I hope you're happy. Hmm.
You want to do
Question?
2 or 3?
No, we don't need to do 2 or 3. I don't want to do too many questions from the same person. Be showing favoritism, especially since I know Conware. I've talked to him before. Nice guy, by the way. But question from Azu Bubble Tea. How does visual How is visual balance between platforms when different graphic settings affect... Okay, sorry, the English here is not the best. I'm going to have to reword this sentence.
We came to answer questions, not roast people. So, come on.
I'm sorry. How's visual balance between platforms when different graphic settings affect gameplay visibility is handled? For example, mobile players may have fewer bushes or lower foliage density, which can give them an advantage in seeing hidden players.
I agree. This is a huge problem. We've tried to reduce it as much as possible, but ultimately compromises have to get made if we want everyone on the same server. Like for example, we could have server settings that lock graphics settings at certain levels, but you're now losing a lot of the play base, and I think it affects Path of the Titans a lot less than other games where you have guns and you can snipe someone from 2 kilometers away and stuff like that. For example, like Overwatch, for example, they don't have someone with a controller won't play with someone with a mouse and keyboard because you just get completely wrecked, right? They have that meme of like you play the game with a mouse and keyboard and you get bronze, and you play on console and you get grandmaster. The difference between skill sets and players, right?
Yeah. Okay. Question from Penguin Core. Will proximity chat ever be added? And in parentheses next to it, it says, "For the love of everything, please say no."
The answer is yes.
at
least we're considering it, right? I don't know if it'll just be a group chat or something else, but the plan is to have voice chat at least.
Bombshell right there. Holy mackerel. Proxy chat in Path of Titans. Oh, man.
I mean, people about to disable it. We'll have to figure out how to moderate it. It'll be creative, but...
All right. Looks like
at some point, we'll have an option for it.
We have a question, a double question from Emily. I say double question because one of them's for me and the other one's for you. Emily said, "Zilla, you've shown us which dinos you're good at playing. Are there any that you're bad at?" Yes. Every single dinosaur that I don't play, I am bad at. All of them. I suck. With, like, Tylo, I can't make that thing work. I'm terrible with Tylo. And Matt, for you, could you give us a hint on what the mystery dino is? Is it an herbivore or carnivore? If you don't want to answer that, here's an alternative. When AI dinosaurs get added to the game, will we be able to hatch them?
AI dinosaurs will be... So yeah, the plan will be when we add dinosaur AI, you're about to nest in another dinosaur, right? We thought about like what would nesting be like if all the players are already grown to an adult, and we wanted to have nesting to have a point, and we wanted to have to basically be able to nest in an AI dinosaur, which would be cool. But it also sounds like really challenging, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want your nested dinosaur to just kind of fall over and die, kind of like your parent Sensorian, right? Like I want, you know, if you're gonna nest in a dinosaur, you want the AI to be really good and stuff like that, right?
-1. Thank you for the super, sir. But I don't think he can talk about the mystery dino. He just passed on answering a question about the mystery dino. I don't think he's gonna answer this one.
I can't say, unfortunately, like the person
thank you for the support, but please do not send me money just to ask questions. We're not gonna be able to answer those. Even if it wasn't about the mystery dino, we would be able to answer that. But they did say, I want to thank the pot team, make the game, have so much fun playing alone with friends. I'm glad there's still people that have fun with this game, honestly.
Why, you're saying that like you don't have fun with the game, huh?
I have fun with the game sometimes. And other times I get really mad. But that's a me problem.
I sent over 100 camp doors, and instead of having fun, you just kind of read quit, you know?
Yeah.
You say all these jokes about, oh, Matt, spawn in 100 critters, and then I do, and then you
and then I get salty. I get salty.
You're salty.
Yep, because I'm a little baby. I'm a little crybaby. I know. I know. I'm terrible. It's Minmi asks, will there eventually be a grab mechanic for corpses?
I don't see why not. We can't have grab and body carrying and stuff like that. It's all cool ideas, but it just lacks, we don't want to do too many things at once and break everything,
right? Question from RARMF. Will death animations still come to the game, and how would they work?
I've always felt like death animations are, make the game a little bit more kind of creative on how people die instead of just kind of ragdolling, but the main problem I see is you'd need to do a lot of them and take a lot of time on 36 dinosaurs. So that's probably the main bottleneck. Because if you just do like 1 or 2 death animations, it's not going to be super interesting. Like, what if someone dies off a cliff or something like that? So you have to get... That's kind of the main problem, right? And that's kind of why we use Ragdoll right now.
Yeah. I have a question here from an anonymous friendly creator. It said, any plans for the future regarding acknowledging creators other than Velazzi and Zilla?
Oh, brutal. No.
That's why I wanted to read it. I saw this and I laughed. When this popped up on the forum, I died. It was so funny.
I'm more than happy to acknowledge and work with other creators. I just think maybe we'd have to hire someone to help us out with that, I know we did a lot in the past, but we're not doing a lot recently.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I get that. DeCarthy asked, can y'all stop piloting the critters when I'm playing?
We don't have ability to pilot them, but that's something we can add. So thanks for the feedback, and we'll work on adding that and in the future.
Yes! Piloted critters. Buff Alpha Siles for real.
We just need a button where like an admin can take over a dinosaur AI, and just stop playing it themselves. And we're like, man, that's really good.
Okay. Uncle W asked, what's been the biggest or funniest challenge when creating new maps for the game?
Um, well, we just spent 2 years working on Rhyperia. So the biggest challenge is how long it takes and trying to make sure all the playables have some interactivity with the map. And making sure it runs on mobile and Switch and stuff like that, right?
That's a lot of challenge. That's a lot of things that are
Then you're
challenging.
like figuring out like how to make sure there's no hotspots and how do we stop everyone camping in mud flats, and I mean the list goes on. How do you not have a lot of map bugs?
Kai, thank you for the
Like it's
super.
two
Shout out to
years
the
of
mods.
2 years of work for a whole team to make a map. You know.
I feel like I'm obligated to use some of these donations to buy my mods, like skin packs or something. Because everyone's like, oh, W
Yeah.
mods. No one's like, W Zilla. But that's okay. The mods deserve it more. I'll treat them well, guys. Don't worry. I'll hook them up. I'll get them their fix. Do. Meme Historic Park asked, are there any major features or mechanics that ended up being completely abandoned or scrapped by you or the team entirely behind the scenes?
Major features or mechanics. So the problem is if I tell you there's been some that are scrapped, now you'll be upset that we're missing it.
That's true. This is a dangerous
I
one.
think the reason why we don't announce stuff is so people don't get upset when things get scrapped, you know, or they don't work out. But
you could always plead the fifth.
I'm just trying to remember. I mean, I don't think we've scrapped that much. You know, it's mostly just like this thing's not working. We'll put it on pause and we'll try it later. You know,
Fair enough.
like we had a very early version of Dinosaur AI, but I was just looking at the code. And I'm like, this code's not really good. This is going to be really complicated. We're going to have to come back to this, but it doesn't get scrapped in the way that we just never do it again, unless it's like, you know, mostly just gets cabled to resume later. We'd have to scrap it if it's like a mechanic that we actually find out, hey, this actually doesn't work and it sucks, kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But most of those you have to wait for player feedback to find out they suck, you know.
Right on. Okay. Question from Ralph. Can previously reworked playables still receive additional abilities or mechanic updates in the future as balance improvements? For example, Styra currently feels a bit underwhelming compared to other options. If so, what kind of time frame can players generally expect for those post-rework adjustments?
The answer is any dinosaur can change at any point for any reason. So we're more than happy to change dinosaurs. The biggest problem is there is now 36 dinosaurs. So
36 is a lot. I sometimes forget that that's
I don't even know.
the
There might be
roster.
more, right? That's just when I lost.
Like,
count,
isn't it like 50? Aren't there like 70 dinosaurs in the game at the moment?
If you guys want more dinosaurs, it just means that less dinosaurs are going to get their share of time, right? That's kind of the main problem with having too many dinosaurs. Right?
Yeah, we have like 100.
So I'm more than happy, yeah, like I said, more than happy to do improvements where we can, but we also have to factor in if you want unique abilities, if you want major changes, if you want your dinosaur to stand out, that's just going to take time, you know? If it's just like a balance change or some, you know, edits or whatever, sure, but that's been our main problem. So we kind of want to wait until we get a bunch of TLCs for all the dinosaurs done first. Because there's some playables in game like Campto that only have like 3 abilities.
Yeah.
And there's playables that have like, it feels like 7, you know, and there's like a massive disparity there, you know?
Question from Arbiter. Matt, what are some of your most anticipated QL updates you want or plan to implement into the game?
What is it, QL or quality of life? Or...
Yeah, quality of life.
It's gonna be the first thing's gonna be like the server stability. Like I've been paged at 4 a.m.
The server
to make sure the servers stay up.
They've been on life support for the last week.
We're doing it. I made a joke about the servers being up for ages without going down, and now they're going down all the time. So I'm gonna say I cursed whatever thing's causing the servers to go down. So I want to fix that first. So server QoL. But the most things I'm excited for are just going to be new mechanics, new TLCs, streamer mode, that punch through, being able to host your own server easily, things that make the game more accessible. But I think the if you can call it a QOL, it's going to be the mega packing, revenge killing, matchmaking fix.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably going to be the biggest quality of life improvement you could possibly do, because that'll just change all the gameplay.
Right. All right.
But if we're talking about like minor stuff, it'd be like, oh, it'd be nice if we redid the hard den. It'd be nice if we, made the game, the tutorial better and things easier to use and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Performance is better.
Okay. We have a question from Savannah. Will you be adding paid dinosaurs in the full game release? And if so, will you still release free ones as well? If you'd rather not answer the first question, the second question still stands on its own.
So if I answer the first question, am I going to get death threats or not?
I don't know. Maybe.
So the plan is we want to focus on the dinosaurs we already have planned. Like, we're already slow enough at adding dinosaurs as it is, so we just want to focus on the current dinosaurs. If we were to do them in the future, it would potentially be in 4-packs, the same way it is now.
That's a good idea.
I mean, the plan always was to do 4-packs. It's just like with Trainer Titan, we only had one done, So like the plan was it would get added to a 4-pack, but maybe with enough people buying skins, maybe we don't need to do any paid dinosaurs. Like, I'm not sure. We'll find out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just going to be a game support review thing, right? Like, I have to support the game and the team over a decade or two of making this game. So it's going to be whatever method works the best for the game. Even if there are some paid dinosaurs in 4-packs, I don't imagine it's going to create a huge problem. But we already have 36 plus dinosaurs in the game you can play, and you can buy a 4-pack and play any mod dinosaur as well. So it's less of like, I can imagine if Overwatch, for example, did paid characters, I'd be really pissed off because a lot of times you kind of have to switch to that dinosaur for balance reasons or to counter them.
Yep.
And like, I wouldn't like that in gameplay.
Nope,
but with
it's
the
not
whole
fun.
part of the Titans, with how many characters we're going to end up having, I don't imagine it's going to be a problem, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, speaking of mods, though, this next question from Valachi is... I like this question. Is there plans to update the mod download pages? Currently it's quite clunky and can be tedious to navigate, and if it were to be updated, would you be open for it to be split into categories for searches, like filter by type of mod, dino, map, creator, game modes, etc., or filter by creator and such?
The plan is we're going to make it at least 100 times better than whatever Steam Workshop's got. That's the plan. So we're going to get categories, we're going to get favorites, commenting, people making mod packs and collections, and we're gonna go all out and make it as good as we can as soon as we get time to work it out.
Okay.
I'd like to see a web page with all the mods on it, and you can select them, whatever. Like, we can't not ship our game on Steam and then do a worse version of Steam Workshop, right? Like, we have to do something better, and we're gonna figure out how to make it the best it possibly can be.
Okay. Question from Brown Mouse, which is a question I believe you got asked last time we streamed, but might as well go over it again. Will we get actual large sauropods in official Path of Titans? I'm assuming they mean larger than a Marca.
The current plan is no, and that's mostly a map design problem and a Unreal Engine scaling problem, where basically the distance between trees creates such a problem where you actually can't navigate the map. Like, how big do you become before you're rendered from miles away, you can't navigate the map, and there's serious gameplay and technical problems, right? And that's kind of the main reason why we don't. Now, if the map changes or the maps get a TLC or, we change our mind down the road, then we could entirely add that, but currently it's not planned to add large sauropods to the game.
Okay. Right on. Question from Altez. I think I saw you answer something similar to this in... It was either Backer Chat or PotGen Chat, but we'll go over it again here. Question from Altez. Are there any plans to improve the game graphically, even if just for the high end?
I always have problems with graphics where I try to do a simple thing like a translucent water plane, and somehow half the platforms we're on just can't even do that properly. So people are like, hey man, you should add tornadoes and ray tracing, and you should add this fire effect and fix rain in caves. And I'm just like, can I render this plane? And the answer half the time is no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it kind of puts me off trying some of the... Like, I'd like to do all the graphical features, but every time we go to do Linux, or someone's got an Intel GPU, or someone's on a platform or a mobile or another thing, there seems to be constant problems. For example, if you have an Intel graphics card on Linux right now, if you do a tail slam on Anno, he just blacks out your entire screen.
That's crazy.
You know, and it's kind of like a flashbang, but only if you have an Intel graphics card, you know? The problem is the rendering stack. It'd be one thing if everyone's on like an Xbox, but because of how many variants there is in PCs and GPUs, complicated rendering features are actually really costly from a time standpoint, you know?
Yep. Sorry, chat. I had to answer a DM. Somebody was asking me about a question that I couldn't read.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, Rook asks, will Pot ever have first person or VR mode?
Man, I would love to say yes. I'd be like, we're adding a mandatory first person mode originally in third person, but people would probably believe that, you know, but the answer is no. Right? I'm sure we could do a VR thing in the future, but VR makes me really sick, you know, and it's asking someone to work on VR is kind of like suffering, you know?
Yeah.
I remember I worked on a VR game, and it was 8 hours of working on the game and 8 hours of lying down being sick. Okay, it's not very fun.
All right, what's the next question? Okay, question from Literate Max. Will Pandora be condensed or smaller, or will it retain its large size? I know its changes are not coming soon, but any plan that could be shared would be appreciated.
So we don't have a plan for Pandora right now. We have a plan on what we might do to Gondola, but Pandora is still in the planning process.
Well, planning process
but it's
is something.
Got some design problems, right?
I mean, the sliding cliffs of death and despair are certainly an interesting obstacle.
Yeah, we're making it before we're going to make maps, you know?
Verparia is a pretty good map. Even though it's not finished, but it's a pretty good map.
At least if you're a Tyler main, it's pretty good. If everyone else, you get murdered, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, with what was it, like a 1.98 KD across all Tylos, which was like, oh, it was higher than Titan's, and Titan got taken out back and shot.
Yeah, Pandora is also our like control map. You know that we're not touching it in case we break a rendering feature and then we can't figure out why. You know what I mean?
So true.
So, like, if we update, like, there's some people that can only play the game on Pandora because their PC is so bad right now, and it's like a control map, you know, so that we can experiment on Rhyperia without breaking everyone being able to play the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, when we're confident, we'll update it.
Christian Smith asked, "What happened to the Microraptor?"
What do you mean? What happened to it?
I don't know. He just said.
What do you mean?
What the micro doing?
We're still working on the Microraptor.
Oh man. You know what's funny? I actually think Sarko's charge bite has been brought up more than Microraptor.
Can
As
we
I've been
add
going through
Psycho's
it.
charge bite to the Microraptor? You know, just
Can Micro get charge bite? Whoa. That'd be sick. Everyone would love that, right?
yeah, I should have said what Microraptor. You remember that interview with the Blizzard guy, and he's like, "What sword?
Mm-hmm.
What about the sword of Sargeras? Well, what sword? I don't know."
Question from Primal Odyssey Tales, formerly known as Grimm's Gaming. Are there plans in the future to update the HUD and or make it customizable?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Nice. Fantastic voice crack there, Zilla. You're just really, really nailing this stream thing. Just totally professional, never causing problems or accidentally minimizing Discord and blacking out everybody's screen. Oh. Oh dear. Okay, this question is in a different language, but I want to see if I can get it translated. Because I don't want to exclude people who can't use English.
Looks like Russian.
It's Ukrainian.
Okay.
According to Google Translate.
It just looks like symbols to me, you know. Every language that's not English looks like symbols. You know?
Hi, Matt and Zilla. When will sanctions or debuffs be introduced for Mixpacker players? It's impossible to play comfortably. Thanks. I'm waiting for an answer.
The answer is we're not planning on doing debuffs. We want to see how the matchmaking update goes. The main problem with debuffs is you kind of get punished for just being around people, and that's kind of hard to fix.
Yeah, I know Bisa Bermuda tried that, and it ended up just getting used to vibe people to death.
Yeah, now the Mega Pack follows you around and doesn't attack you until you get debuffed and you die. Okay,
exactly.
Now you're just giving the Mega Pack AOE debuff damage, and they just play debuffed all the time. You know, like that's the problem, right? I'd sooner add a plague to Rampy than.
I mean, you did.
I mean, you know.
You did.
I meant like a plague that spreads itself. You know what I mean? Kind of like the corrupted blood incident. You
know. Char asked, "Will the snakeskin pack ever come back?" I assume they mean the Serpentine bundle.
Yeah, there's a bunch of bundles are going to come back, so I expect it will.
Woo! Bundles coming back. We love that. Man, so many questions got added since we started. My God. All right, I think we've officially gotten through the questions that were sent in before the stream went live, and we have now entered the dangerous land of questions post-live.
Oh, do we want to do the ones from chat now?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that people from chat came into the forum and submitted questions after we went live, and I'm seeing them now.
I mean, we've been streaming for like 80 minutes, so we can probably do a bit more.
Yeah. When do you want to cut this off? I know someone was asking about it earlier.
We can give it another 15, 20 minutes or something.
Another 15 or 20 minutes? That sounds good to me. Oh man, we're gonna have to speed run these. Okay.
I mean, you can just look through and pick what you think is interesting, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to find stuff that hasn't been asked already, or is something that you haven't been asked about in like the Discord and just answered ad hominem. Do we have any plans for competitive PvP in the future?
Oh man, what a this could be on the hot take question, huh? I feel like the direction of the game is going to be moving away from being a competitive PvP game and more towards a PvP. Sorry, I already mispronounced this, but PvP and PvE kind of combined. I mean, I could imagine a world where we have some kind of ranked matchmaking mode. I think that would be very funny, but um, that's just a lot of work to code in. That's the main problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you can imagine a world where you can pick Spiner and you can fight other Spiner players in ranked matchmaking. That would be pretty funny.
For April Fool's Day, have you considered making Campto the size of a Rex?
Yeah, most of my problems with is getting these approved, but
Your team is
I
just constantly holding
like
you back. They're like,
yeah,
no,
like
Matt, you can't do that.
um there's one time I wanted to add a mortal turtle that chased megapacks, just like really slowly. But
the immortal
um
snail.
I'm sure we could. We always just have to make sure we don't break the whole game. And you've seen the Discord. We post an announcement and people don't read it, right? So we say, hey, there's an April Fool's update. People will take it serious and quit and refund.
Yeah. Question from Blue Foxer. What are your plans about rain happening in caves?
We actually finished it. We spent all this time on it. We finished it. And then we upgraded from world composition to world partition in Unreal Engine. And the system doesn't work for world partition.
So it broke
So then you
again.
have to redo it. Well, it didn't break, but we moved to a new Unreal feature to fix Riparian not working on low RAM devices.
Mm-hmm.
But that led to the Rain and Cage fix not working anymore.
I see.
So we got it finished, and like just before we're about to ship it, we ship Rhyperion, and we're like, okay, Rhyperia's crashing on mobile. We need to port it to world partition, but that won't have the Rain and Cage fix.
I see. Voltage SR asked, can we get a way to limit spam calling?
I talked to G about this, and I don't think she likes having a debuff for spam calling. I mean, I would like one, but I think that's a debated topic kind of internally at the moment.
Okay. Coyotito asked, howdy Matt and Zilla. I had a curious question about if Alderon as a whole is hiring for their game.
We are hiring. Let's pull up the site here real quick. We are hiring up to 3 people right now. Environment art, technical art, and a anti-cheat person.
There you go. Okay, still scrolling. While I'm scrolling through this, I have a question for you. You ever gonna play Monster Hunter with me?
I played Monster Hunter one time, the new one.
Yeah, Wilds.
Apparently the performance is terrible. I don't know what they're doing, but
It's been fixed, I think, kind of.
Sure. Yeah, you're gonna have frame generation by default. Sure, yeah, it's definitely fixed. So I played the game. I've never played the game before, and I just, for whatever reason, found the controls very clunky. And I was killing this big boss monster thing, and I was in the middle of combat, and it just kind of went to sleep, And I'm like, man, the monster's so bored, it went to sleep. What the hell? I feel bad, right? But apparently, Jiggy tells me that they're supposed to run away and sleep to heal, and the monster wasn't bored, but I just felt like I was making the thing bored.
Interesting.
And it's just kind of really clunky. Like just I guess I was using controller, and it's just like some of the keybinds and things someone that knows the game really well probably would do a good job, but I was just doing terrible at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, hey, I want to be friendly with the monster, and I want to kill them. Like it just goes against.
Mm-hmm.
It's just mean.
Fair enough. Arrow Arts
like
asked,
like the people that murder critters, heartless, right?
Oh, we're not gonna talk about how many critters I kill. Arrow Arts asked, will there be any crossovers with other IPs someday, such as Primal Carnage, X Path of Titan, skin packs?
I think they're doing a mod crossover, but generally the problem with official crossovers is there's a whole bunch of like copyright and disputes and royalty agreements, and a whole bunch of complexity you want to deal with. The second thing is, what if the game developer does something really bad PR-wise? Like, let's say they start using generative AI or something crypto-related, or kind of something we don't want to be associated with. It seems like it's a bad idea, you know?
Fair.
Like, hey, we're doing this collab with this company, and then that company, you know, fires a bunch of people or does something that's like extremely bad. And it's just a lot easier just kind of, you know, doing your own thing, you know?
Stinky Cow asked, what is the least played Dinosaur in Path versus the most played?
The least played. Oh man.
Because I know the most played is Rex, with like I think it has like a 10%
I'm
pick
not
rate.
gonna know this off by heart, but it's probably gonna be a herbivore, you know, just because we're missing the herbivore quests.
Is it Campto?
Campto is actually not the least played. Campto is the most killed, I think, right? In terms of like PvE deaths, you know. So like,
based.
It's kind of funny, but Campto is faster than everything, right? So most of your deaths are people making such big skill issues, you know, like environmental deaths. It's kind of so funny, and most of the kind of quote unquote, you know, apexes or larger dinosaurs, most of their deaths are all PvP and not PvE deaths, you know. But Kaiwekia, I think, has the most amount of deaths for thirst at 20%.
Okay.
Because people just go out of they go on the land crawling and then they get killed. But yeah, so some people in chat saying it might be Uranosaurus. It might be, but I haven't ran the numbers. I've mostly ran the numbers against kills and not, you know,
not played.
and
Yeah.
Not played. But once we have metrics, we'll know answers like that. Man.
Speaking of metrics, how's that coming along?
It's supposedly done.
Supposedly.
Right. Like, it's supposed to ship with the next patch, but the backend team are also doing some crazy database migration. And if that affects metrics, it may affect shipping. But like technically it is done, but I don't want to release it and have it all crash when we release it. So they might hold it back to do some improvements, but we'll see how it goes.
There is a question in here that I am confused about because I was unaware of it. Is there a new like rule or TOS thing?
So back? Or no?
We're so back. Hold on, OBS is booting back up again. It's not a Zilla stream if there isn't an absolute network disaster. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have one of those like business internet connections, and
I have that too, and they still give me these problems.
I guess I would call it like an enterprise business internet connection, and they pay me if it goes down, you know.
I wish, bro.
So like per minute it's down, they owe me money.
If I had that,
it's funny. It's never been down in 6 years.
If I had that, I could do YouTube full time. I wouldn't have to work a 9 to 5.
It might cost more than rent, but it'll if it's down for like, you know, if it's down for any amount of time, they have to pay you money. So they freak out and they fix it right away.
Noted. So you were literally in the process of answering the stream sniping thing when everything crapped the bed. Like you had just started speaking and it just went kaput. So if you don't mind just reiterating whatever it was you said.
So technically we don't have a rule that says you can't stream snipe. But we do have a rule against targeted harassment.
Okay.
Right? And one could argue stream sniping someone is targeted harassment. You know, you get a whole bunch of people, you go find out what server they're on, you know, you kind of harass them over and over and over again. That's going to start falling against targeted harassment.
Okay. Noted. Well, that's something I wasn't aware of.
It's no different from if you weren't streaming, but you just like really hated somebody and you were just going after them constantly. right? Like it's the same thing, right?
Okay. Oh my god, there's so many questions. Oh my god, we finally got to the end.
Yeah, I saw general chat in the Discord was roasting you for not asking the right questions.
Look, what do they mean? The questions that they spam every day that go unanswered,
They're
like
why are you
Allo
asking about the
TLC
next update?
win? When is Meg TLC? Is Meg getting climbing? Like, guys, you really think he's gonna answer me when he won't answer you? Please, please. I mean, if you go down to go look at 650. Like, what is this?
Oh, let me just pull it out real quick. So 650. Why do you choose the stupidest questions?
Sent in
Yeah,
by
Zilla.
sent in by fuck you. Like, what?
Alright.
This is gonna make me crash out.
Look, there's 650 questions here. Come on, guys. We're going through as many as we can.
And a lot of them are repeats. Someone asked if home cave complexity will ever increase.
Yes.
Cool. Would you guys ever add a mod to the main game?
The current plan is no, because unless it's a mod we earn and we like maintain, I just don't want to get paged at 3 a.m. because a mod's coded incorrectly and we have to spend all night fixing it. Like it's just
Yeah,
not
that's
something we want to do. Like there's a certain like while our game might have some mods might have better features than certain dinosaurs we have, and they may have stuff that's cooler. We usually prioritize stability, because like we don't want someone to have to spend all night fixing something if something goes wrong. And with a community server, they usually do a better job at doing mods anyway, and they balance them properly. And how are we going to balance all the mods? Like it's we can barely balance the dinosaurs in the game as is, let alone balancing a whole bunch of mods with our dinosaurs as well, while making new balance changes. Like it's just not realistic,
Question, where was this question? I saw it, my eyes were locked onto it and then I just lost it. How did I lose this question? Where? Oh, here we go. Okay, from question from Anonymous. Will Pandora's water remain see-through from an underwater perspective, and will the other maps get that?
The plan was to redo the water so we could have water be more see-through. But we had issues with rendering it. But I think we're trying to do it in the next update, but it depends on if it renders properly. But if we can fix it, we'll put it on all the maps, okay? When they get TLCs.
I see a lot of questions about Titan nerfs, Tylo nerfs, EO chain. A lot of people are just anticipating stuff.
EO is being chained to the next patch. We know Titan's being nerfed to the next patch.
Yeah.
We know Titan's getting a bunch of bug fixes in the next patch for its broken abilities or abilities that are too OP. Stuff like that.
Man. King Rule 4 said besides grapple and climbing, will there be any new mechanics?
The new mechanics are really complicated and hard to code in. And you could spend months coding in a new mechanic, and you could still like code it in wrong, right? So, I want to avoid making any promises about new mechanics until we actually like can prove we can do it properly, But the plan is we will add some, but I can't make any promises on what and how many.
Fair enough. I think I'm drawing blanks. Oh, hold on. Nope, this is a good one. This is actually a good one. Question from Alcazar. What's the current plan to reduce population in Cedrus Forest and Grand Plains River?
Oh, I'm glad you converted those acronyms because we have the wildest acronyms for regions. I think the plan is to address it through some map TLCs, but we'll have to see how that goes. It's something we're going to do properly rather than like just moving everything to another spot. You know, it's super easy to edit the map and you just move everyone to a different spot. It's actually hard to like fix it properly to the point where it's not a hotspot anymore, right?
Mm-hmm. Minimamiv asked, will you be able to change your dino names? And will it cost growth?
No.
All right, I think we've hit the timer. I think
yeah,
we're at that spot. I don't. I mean, they could all obviously they can keep sending questions in, but like, I mean, I think we're about at that time limit that you mentioned earlier.
Okay, thanks for asking the questions, everybody. And sorry we can't get everything. And thanks for everyone that did super chats and supported the stream. And I'm more than happy to do more Q&As in the future.
Yeah, thanks for doing this Q&A for everybody while the servers have been having a mental breakdown. It's cool to give them something
Luckily,
to do.
I don't have to fix them. Otherwise, I would just cancel the Q&A and spend all the time fixing the servers. Luckily, we got Connor fixing the servers, but...
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, fair. Looking forward to the next update.
Can we get a W Connor in chat?
Yeah, W Connor.
W Connor, honestly.
He was up all night fixing stuff. Poor guy. Having a bad day. He told me he was on calls with Amazon Web Services for like 6 hours, you know?
That's terrible.
He's like, why is our servers down? Please fix it.
All right. Well, Matt, thank you for doing this with me. It's been an absolute privilege and an honor. Thank you to all the chatters who submitted questions. Hopefully this was satisfactory to the majority of people who watched. I know I had a good time with this. And I'm sure Valachi is going to have an absolute field day sifting through this for his next video.
So we need you to spend the next 8 hours going through and adding timestamps for every question, okay?
Nope. No thanks.
Somebody's got to do it, right?
Somebody.
Timestamp? Timestamp?
Somebody will. It won't be me.
You got to clip it up to a separate short upload for every question.
Okay? Fair enough. All right. Well, with that said, goodbye, Matt. Have a great rest of your day or night or whatever it is for you. And chat, ads be upon ye.
All right. See you, everyone.